الله النور بسم الله النور بسم الله النور بسم الله النور بسم الله نور النور بسم الله النور.
Welcome, everyone, to this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's exciting, isn't it? Today, we're diving into something pretty amazing, the intellectual legacy of the Ahlulbayt. Peace be upon them.
Yeah.
Like we're opening this treasure chest
Yeah.
full of wisdom passed down for centuries.
Absolutely.
And it's still so relevant to our lives, even today.
You know, it's amazing how much guidance we can find in just the sayings
Right.
of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and his family.
Dude,
And his family, known as hadiths.
Yeah.
They offer a window into, like, how Islam views the world, and they cover such a wide range, from personal growth to social justice to even the mysteries of faith.
Exactly. And for this deep dive, we're focusing on the wisdom of the Ahlulbayt specifically.
Right.
Before we get into the details, could you maybe just give a little reminder
Of course.
of who they are and
Yeah.
why their words are so significant?
Absolutely. So the Ahlulbayt refers to the Prophet's family, specifically his daughter, Fatima, peace be upon her, her husband, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, peace be upon him,
Right.
and their descendants.
Got it.
So within the Shia tradition, they're considered the rightful successors to the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, and their teachings are seen as an authoritative source of guidance.
Okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that really jumped out at me going through all of these sources
Yeah.
was the incredible emphasis on knowledge. It's not just like a nice thing to have.
Right.
It's presented as like a fundamental obligation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In Islam, knowledge is seen as this path to understanding Allah. May He be glorified and exalted and fulfilling our purpose in life.
Right.
So it's about using our intellect
Yeah.
to figure out how to live in the world
Yep.
and to grow closer to the divine.
And I'm seeing that reflected in so many of these hadiths.
Yeah.
Like this one from Tuhaf Al-Uqul, attributed to Imam Ali, peace be upon him.
Yes.
Through knowledge, God is obeyed, worshipped, acknowledged, and confessed of his being one. It's like knowledge is the very foundation
Yes.
for having a real relationship with the Creator.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
And it goes even further.
Okay.
It's not just about getting knowledge, but about using it, living it,
Mm-hmm.
letting it shape how we act.
That makes me think, does that mean that, like if someone has a lot of knowledge, but they don't live by it,
Right.
are they kind of missing the whole point?
That is the big question.
Yeah.
There's this story in Tuhaf Al-Uqul that's helpful.
Okay.
The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family,
Yes.
was once asked about this guy
Okay.
who was known for his generous charity.
Okay.
But instead of just praising him, the
Mhm.
Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, asked, how is the intelligence of that man?
Interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
So they told him, well, we're talking about his charity. And the Prophet, peace be upon him and his family, said, due to his idiocy, the foolish may commit sins that are greater than those sins committed by the lewd ones. According to their intelligence, the servants will have higher ranks and be close to their Lord.
Wow. So it's not just about good deeds, but also understanding why we do them.
Exactly. Like, you could have the best tool in the world,
Right.
but if you don't know how to use it,
Yeah.
you could actually do more harm than good.
So what does that mean for us then?
Yeah.
You know, in our daily lives, trying to live by these teachings,
Yeah.
is it like constantly balancing learning
It is.
and then putting what we learn into practice?
It's about constantly seeking knowledge, thinking about what it means, and then actually trying to live it out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, thinking about living out this knowledge,
Yes.
I noticed a lot of the hadiths really focus on character development.
Absolutely.
Things like humility, sincerity, patience.
Yes.
These seem to be seen as the building blocks
Yeah.
of a truly righteous life.
Yeah. Right. In Islam, character isn't just about being like a good person.
Okay.
It's about aligning who you are inside with the will of Allah. May He be glorified and exalted.
And it seems like that alignment starts with our words.
Yes.
There's this hadith attributed to Imam Ali, peace be
Yeah.
upon him, that really stuck with me.
Okay.
It says, "O Ali, beware of backbiting and tail-bearing. Backbiting breaks the ritual, fasting, and tale-bearing causes the burial punishment. That's pretty strong language.
It is.
Connecting how we speak directly to spiritual consequences.
Yeah, it shows you how seriously Islam takes the impact we have on each other. Like, saying bad things about people, gossip.
Right.
It's not just rude, but it's spiritually damaging both to the person speaking and the person being spoken about.
Absolutely.
This focus on our impact on others makes me think about all the hadiths about relationships. There are so many of them.
There are.
Emphasizing fairness, trustworthiness, kindness.
It's almost like Islam sees our connections with other people as a direct reflection of our connection with God.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Yeah.
There's a hadith from Imam al-Bakir, peace be upon him, that shows this so clearly. Regarding your relatives, do good to them, whether they do the same to you or not. Visit them, whether they visit you or not. And give to them, whether they give to you or not.
Wow. A powerful reminder that keeping those family ties strong is a duty, regardless of how others act.
Exactly.
It's definitely challenging, though.
It is.
Especially when relationships are strained.
Yeah.
You know, like those difficult family situations.
Right.
Or even friendships.
Absolutely.
Where it feels like you're putting in more effort than the other person.
It happens a lot.
Yeah.
But this hadith reminds us that fulfilling the rights of others, it's not like a business deal. It's a spiritual obligation.
So it's about consistently acting with kindness and justice, even when it's tough. Or when it feels like it's not being reciprocated.
You got it. It's about striving to embody those values in all of our interactions, recognizing that our relationships are a reflection of our own spiritual state.
Okay. I think that's something we could all work on.
I know, I could.
For sure, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It's a lifelong process.
Speaking of challenging, though, something that really intrigued me was Imam Ali's, peace be upon him.
Okay.
Document of instructions from Malik al-Ashtar.
Yes.
It's like this blueprint for what leadership should be like.
It's a remarkable text, incredibly detailed and practical.
Yeah.
Imam Ali, peace be upon him, was writing to Malik, who he had appointed as governor of Egypt, laying out all these principles for just governance.
I remember when we were outlining this episode, we had it under political and social justice.
Right.
But it feels like it's bigger than that.
It does.
It's like Imam Ali, peace be upon him, is saying that leadership isn't just about managing a state, but it's this deeply moral act.
It goes beyond just politics.
Right.
Imam Ali, peace be upon him, talks about choosing officials who are not just competent, but also known for their integrity. He stresses the importance of consulting widely, even with those who disagree with you.
Interesting.
And a big part of it is accountability.
Yeah.
Leaders being answerable for their decisions.
That accountability piece is so important, especially these days.
Absolutely.
You see so many examples where it seems like power shields people from the consequences.
Yeah, it does seem like that sometimes.
Did Imam Ali, peace be upon him, give specific examples?
He did.
Or is it more about like these general principles?
It's both.
Okay.
He lays out these big ideas like justice has to be at the core of any stable government, but then he gets really specific.
Okay, like what?
Like how to treat different groups fairly, how to build a sound economic system.
Yeah.
Even stuff like maintaining infrastructure for the good of everyone.
It makes me think about all the arguments we have today about good leadership.
Yeah.
What it actually means to serve the people. It's like this document, written so long ago, is speaking directly to those issues.
It is amazing how relevant it is.
Yeah. Have there been any real-world examples where Imam Ali's, peace be upon him, glitter actually inspired change?
Oh, absolutely. Throughout history, there have been movements for social and political reform, both within the Muslim world and beyond, that have drawn inspiration from Imam Ali's, peace be upon him, principles.
That's amazing.
His focus on justice, consultation, and fighting for the oppressed resonates deeply with people who are trying to build a more just world.
It's incredible how relevant those principles still are today.
It really is.
It's like this deep dive is showing us how timeless the wisdom of the Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them, really is.
It really is. And it's not just in the realm of politics. Their teachings cover so many parts of the human experience, including those deeper, unseen dimensions of faith and spirituality.
Yeah, that's what really drew me to this topic in the first place.
Okay.
How Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them, guide us not just on what we do, but also on those inner transformations that are essential for a meaningful spiritual life.
It's about going beyond just the rituals.
Okay.
And cultivating that connection with Allah. May he be glorified and exalted. That
Right.
affects everything about who we are.
There's this hadith from Imam Jafar al-Sadiq,
Yeah.
peace be upon him,
Okay.
that speaks to this. It says, worship is of three types. Some people worship Allah, may he be glorified and exalted out of fear, and that is the worship of slaves. Some worship Allah, may he be glorified and exalted, desiring reward, and that is the worship of merchants. And some worship Allah, may he be glorified and exalted out of love, and that is the worship of the free.
That is a beautiful one. It really highlights the different reasons why we do things.
Yeah.
And how that impacts where we are spiritually.
Yeah.
Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, is saying that true worship comes from love,
Okay.
not fear or just wanting a reward.
That makes sense.
It's like when you do something out of love, it feels effortless, joyful.
Right.
But when it's based on fear or chasing rewards,
Mm-hmm.
it feels more like a burden.
Like a transaction almost.
Exactly. So it's about nurturing a heart that is full of love for Allah. May he be glorified and exalted.
Okay.
And allowing that love to guide everything we do.
So how do we actually do that? How do
Okay.
we develop that pure,
It's a good question.
loving connection?
It is a good question. The hadiths offer some guidance.
Okay, like what?
They emphasize practices like sincere prayer, contemplation, acts of service.
Right.
They talk about seeking knowledge, not just for the sake of knowing, but
Yeah.
to deepen our understanding of Allah. May he be glorified and exalted, and his creation.
Okay.
It's also about surrounding ourselves with good influences, people who inspire us to grow closer to the divine.
That makes me think about the importance of community,
Yes.
which seems to be a big part of these teachings.
Absolutely. We're not meant to go through this journey alone.
There's this beautiful hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, that says, the believer is the mirror of his brother. It's like we can see ourselves reflected in the people around us,
Yeah.
both the good and the bad.
It's a powerful reminder that our relationships can offer both guidance and accountability. They help us see our blind spots,
Okay.
challenge us to think differently, and encourage us to grow in ways we couldn't do on our own.
And sometimes that growth means facing things about ourselves that are hard to admit.
Right.
Those parts we might want to ignore.
Yeah,
Do the hadiths talk about this kind of self-reflection?
they do. There's a hadith from Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, that says, whoever knows himself knows his Lord.
Wow.
It's a really deep statement suggesting that knowing yourself is a key part of understanding the divine.
It's like that quote, the unexamined life is not worth living.
Exactly. It's about really engaging in that process of self-reflection.
Right.
Honestly looking at our strengths,
Yeah.
our weaknesses, why we do the things we do.
But that kind of honesty can be tough.
It is.
It's easier to just focus on the good
Yeah.
and ignore the parts that need work.
It's definitely tempting.
Do the hadiths have any advice on how to approach the process in a healthy way?
They do. They emphasize being gentle with ourselves.
Okay.
You know, we're all works in progress.
Yeah.
There's this hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him,
Okay.
that says, the most helpless of people is he who cannot find a few good qualities in himself and others.
So it's about acknowledging our flaws,
Yeah.
but also remembering our inherent goodness,
Exactly.
that spark of the divine that's within each of us.
It's about finding that balance between accepting ourselves and still wanting to become better.
Yeah.
Recognizing that we can be both flawed and worthy of love and compassion at the same time.
This reminds me of something else that really stood out to me in these hadiths.
What's that?
The focus on finding joy and beauty in simple things,
Yeah.
even when life is tough.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating gratitude, appreciating what we have,
Right.
finding those moments of peace and contentment,
Yeah.
even in the midst of challenges.
There's this really nice hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him,
Okay.
that says, he who is grateful for a small favor will receive a bigger one. It's like gratitude unlocks these even greater blessings.
That's beautiful.
Right.
And it's not just about getting more things. It's about developing a heart that's open to appreciation, that sees the good in everyday life,
Right.
that finds joy in the simple things.
Yeah, it's like changing our perspective.
It is.
Training ourselves to notice
Yes.
and be thankful for the good that's already there.
Absolutely. It's about shifting our focus from what we're missing to what we have,
Yeah.
from what's wrong to what's right.
That makes me think about how interconnected everything is in these teachings.
And it's all connected.
It's like we're part of this larger web of life.
Right.
And our gratitude, our joy, our compassion,
Yes.
it all spreads outward,
It does.
impacting those around us and the world as a whole.
You said that beautifully. There's a hadith from Imam al-Sadiq, peace be upon him, that expresses this perfectly. Whoever eases the hardship of a believer in this world, Allah, may he be glorified and exalted, will ease his hardship on the day of judgment.
Wow.
It reminds us that our actions have consequences.
Yeah.
That even small acts of kindness can make a big difference.
Like we're all in this together.
We are.
Each of us playing a part in building a world that's more beautiful and compassionate.
Yeah. And when you realize that, it can be really empowering.
Okay.
It gives you this sense of purpose.
Right.
Knowing that even small things you do can have an impact.
So with all this talk about how our actions affect each other, I'm curious about what the hadiths say about social responsibility.
It's a big part of it.
Okay.
It seems like a natural part of this emphasis on community and compassion. Social responsibility is central to Islamic teachings.
Yep.
There's a strong emphasis on standing up for those who are oppressed, speaking truth to those in power,
Right.
and working towards justice and fairness for everyone.
That really resonates with a lot of what we're seeing in the world today.
It does.
All these movements for social justice and change.
Yeah.
It's like these teachings passed down through generations
Right.
are still giving us a framework
Absolutely.
for creating a society that's more just and equitable.
There's a hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, that says, speak the truth, even if it is against yourself.
That's a powerful statement.
It is a call for integrity.
Yeah.
To stand up for what's right,
Yeah.
even when it's hard.
Yeah.
Or when it's not popular.
It's a challenge, though, isn't it?
It is.
To speak truth to power.
Yeah.
To stand up for what's right.
Right.
Especially when it feels like everyone is against you.
It's definitely not easy.
Do the hadiths offer any guidance on how to develop that kind of courage and resilience?
They do. They remind us that true strength doesn't come from physical power or social status. It comes from your connection with Allah, may He be glorified and exalted, from a deep belief in justice. And the willingness to act according to your values, even when it's hard.
There's this hadith from Imam Hussein, peace be upon him, that comes to mind.
Oh, yeah.
It says, death with dignity is better than a life of humiliation.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
It shows you that unwavering commitment to truth and justice.
Right.
Even when you're facing danger or immense pressure.
It's a reminder that we have a responsibility.
We do.
To use our voices, our actions, and our resources to make a positive impact.
Absolutely.
To speak out against injustice and to build a world where everyone is treated fairly and with compassion.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that we are all part of something much bigger than ourselves. And that what we do can create ripple effects.
Right.
That impact not just our own lives, but also the lives of countless others.
That makes me think about the Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them.
Yes.
And how their lives were an example of these very principles.
They were.
They faced so many challenges, persecution, even martyrdom.
It's true.
But their commitment to truth and justice never wavered.
Their stories are incredibly inspiring.
Yeah.
They show us that living a meaningful life often means being courageous, resilient, and standing up for what's right, even when it's hard.
And their legacy still inspires people all over the world today.
Absolutely.
It's like their message of love,
yes,
compassion, and justice goes beyond any one culture or religion.
It does.
It speaks to something deep within us.
It does. It speaks to that desire for meaning, for connection, for a world where peace and justice prevail.
You know, as we've been exploring these teachings, one thing that's become really clear to me
What's that?
is that they're not just about following rules or believing certain things. It's about developing a way of being in the world, a way of approaching life with a heart full of compassion, generosity, and love.
That is beautifully put. It's about embodying those values in everything we do, letting them guide how we interact with each other, the choices we make, and how we see the world.
And that's a journey, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's a lifelong process of learning, growing, and trying to become better versions of ourselves.
Speaking of challenges, I noticed that the hadiths often talk about dealing with adversity.
They do.
Those inevitable hardships that life throws at us.
Life is full of ups and downs, moments of joy and moments of sorrow. And the teachings of the Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them, offer us guidance on how to go through those challenges with grace, resilience, and a deep sense of trust in Allah. May He be glorified and exalted.
There's a hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, that says, know that with hardship comes ease. It's a reminder that even when things are tough, there's always hope,
Absolutely.
and that things will eventually get better.
It's a beautiful reminder.
It is.
And it speaks to the importance of keeping things in perspective, of
Right.
remembering that even the darkest night
Yeah.
will eventually give way to dawn.
It's like a call for patience,
Yes.
for perseverance, to trusting that even when things feel overwhelming,
Yeah.
there's a higher purpose at play.
And that trust in a higher purpose can be really powerful.
Okay.
It can give you the strength to keep going even when it's hard,
Right.
knowing that there's a bigger plan unfolding,
Right.
even if we can't fully see it in the moment.
So it's about accepting that hardship is a part of life,
Yeah.
but not letting it define us or break us.
Exactly.
It's about finding that inner strength to
Yeah.
keep moving forward, knowing that challenges help us grow,
Right.
and that ease will come eventually.
And that inner strength comes from your connection with Allah. May He be glorified and exalted from your faith, your values, and the support of your community.
That makes me think about the importance of prayer,
Yes.
of turning to the divine for guidance, support.
Absolutely. Especially during those tough times.
Exactly.
Prayer is a powerful way to connect with Allah. May He be glorified and exalted, to find comfort,
Yeah.
and to get the strength to face your challenges with courage and grace.
There's this hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him,
Okay.
that says the best provision is piety. It's like a reminder that what truly sustains us
Yes.
isn't material wealth or possessions,
Right.
but our connection with the divine
Exactly.
and living a life of virtue and righteousness.
That's beautifully said. It speaks to the importance of aligning your life with your values, of seeking not just worldly success, but also spiritual fulfillment.
So it's about recognizing that real happiness
Yes.
doesn't come from what we own, but from who we are, the
Absolutely.
state of our hearts,
Yeah.
and the quality of our relationships with Allah. May He be glorified and exalted with ourselves and with others.
It's about cultivating that inner peace and contentment
Right.
that comes from living a life of purpose and meaning,
Right.
a life that reflects your values
Yeah.
and is rooted in your faith.
And that alignment, that grounding in our faith seems to be a recurring theme throughout these teachings.
It is.
It's like a reminder that our connection with the divine is the foundation
Yes.
for everything else.
That foundation is strengthened
Right.
through things like prayer, contemplation, seeking knowledge, and striving to live a virtuous life. It's
Yeah.
about consciously trying to connect with Allah. May He be glorified and exalted every day to seek guidance. Yeah.
And to bring your heart and mind in line with His will.
That makes me think about the importance of intention,
It is crucial.
something that's emphasized so much in these teachings.
Absolutely. It's not just about what you do,
Right.
but why you do it.
Yeah. The motivation behind it.
Exactly. The value of our actions is directly tied to how pure our intentions are.
Okay.
A good deed done for selfish reasons can actually be harmful, while a small act of kindness done with sincerity and compassion can have a huge impact.
It's like shifting our attention from appearances to what's going on in our hearts.
And that shift can be transformative.
Okay.
It pushes us to be more aware of ourselves,
Right.
to look at why we do things, and to strive for purity in our intentions.
So it's about making sure our actions are in line with our highest values.
Yes.
And that everything we do comes from a place of love, compassion, and a desire to serve a greater good.
And when we do that,
When our actions are driven by pure intentions, they become a form of worship,
right.
a way to connect with the divine and to make a positive impact on the world.
It's like a reminder that even the smallest things
Yeah.
can be meaningful
They can.
when they're done with the right intention.
And that can be really empowering.
Okay.
It allows you to find purpose and meaning in every part of your life,
Yeah.
from the ordinary to the extraordinary.
It's like seeing each moment as a chance
Exactly.
to connect with the divine,
Yeah.
to express our love and gratitude, and to make a difference in the world around us.
That's a beautiful way to live.
You know, as we go deeper into these teachings,
Yeah.
I'm struck by how much they emphasize how everything's connected.
It is a key principle in how Islam views the world.
Okay.
It's about understanding that everything is woven together,
Right.
from our own individual actions to our social structures
Right.
to the natural world.
Yeah, it's like we're all part of this huge tapestry.
It is.
And each thread, even the smallest one,
Yes.
contributes to the overall design.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
Thanks.
It highlights how important it is
Yeah.
to think about how what we do affects the world.
Right.
To recognize that our choices have these ripple effects that impact not just us, but so many others.
So it's about approaching life with a sense of responsibility.
That's it.
Knowing that we're not just individuals,
Yeah.
but part of this larger web of life.
And that responsibility goes beyond just our human communities.
Okay.
It includes our relationship with nature, with animals, with the resources we use.
There's a hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, that says, "Fear Allah, may he be glorified and exalted, regarding his creatures and his cities, for you will be questioned even about the land and the beasts." It's a strong reminder that we'll be held accountable for how we treat the environment.
Absolutely.
That our actions have consequences not just for ourselves,
Right.
but for the world around us.
That's a great example.
Yeah.
It emphasizes the need to live in harmony with nature,
Okay.
to understand that we're not separate from it, but a part of it.
It's like we're caretakers of this planet.
We are.
Entrusted with looking after it
Yeah,
and ensuring its well-being.
for future generations.
Yeah, for generations to come.
And that means being mindful of what we consume,
Right.
reducing our waste, making choices that promote sustainability and protect the balance of nature.
You know, it's remarkable how these teachings can be so profound
It really is.
and practical at the same time,
They are.
addressing the spiritual and the everyday.
They offer guidance on everything.
Yeah.
From our connection with Allah, may He be glorified and exalted, to how we treat others, to our responsibility for the environment.
It's this complete way of looking at the world.
It's a holistic worldview
Yeah.
that encompasses all of human experience.
It's like they're giving us a map
It is like a map.
for living a life that's meaningful and fulfilling.
Yes.
A life that's grounded in faith and compassion and deeply connected to the divine.
And the amazing thing is that this map is accessible to everyone, no matter your background or beliefs.
That's what's so beautiful about these teachings.
It is.
Their universality.
They speak to those fundamental values that resonate with everyone.
Exactly.
They offer a message of hope,
Right.
of love, of compassion, and of the possibility of creating a more just and fair world.
And they remind us that we're all connected, that we're all on this journey together.
Yeah,
And that we have the power to make a difference.
absolutely.
One thought, one word,
Yes.
one action at a time.
Beautifully said.
Yeah.
That's a powerful message to keep in mind
Yeah.
as we continue to explore these teachings and try to embody them in our lives.
You know, it's incredible just how much these teachings cover. We've talked about social justice, the environment, this really deep inner work.
Yeah,
It's a lot,
it is a lot.
but there's this sense of balance to it all, right?
Okay, I think so.
It's not about getting overwhelmed,
Right.
but about understanding that everything is connected and finding our own place within that web.
Absolutely.
This brings me back to something we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The role of the Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them.
Yes.
In preserving and passing down these teachings, it feels like they weren't just sharing information,
Right.
but like a whole way of life.
Exactly. They lived these principles,
Yeah.
embodying them in their actions and choices.
Okay.
Their lives were a model for how to deal with the complexities of the world
Right.
while staying grounded in faith and
Yeah.
committed to justice.
Thinking about their lives, especially the challenges they faced,
Right.
makes me think about something we haven't really touched on. Death
Okay.
and what happens after we die.
Right.
It's a big topic.
It is.
But it feels relevant.
It is definitely relevant.
Given all this focus on living with purpose.
In Islam, death isn't the end.
What?
It's seen as a transition,
Okay.
going from this world to the next.
Right.
And how we live here affects what happens in the hereafter.
So it's not about just following rules to avoid punishment.
No.
But about trying to live in a way that's pleasing to Allah. May He be glorified and exalted.
Absolutely.
A life that reflects our love for Him and our dedication to His teachings.
It's about aligning your heart and your mind
Okay.
with the divine will,
Right.
trying to live out those attributes of compassion,
Yeah.
mercy, and justice.
There's this hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, that I keep thinking about.
Okay.
He says, "The world is a bridge. Cross over it, but build no house upon it."
That is a powerful image.
Yeah, it makes you think about what we're building in this life.
It does.
Are we focused on getting material things and status?
Right.
Or are we investing in our spiritual growth and trying to leave a positive mark
Absolutely.
that goes beyond just our time on Earth?
It's a question we all have to consider.
It really makes me think about how this deep dive has changed how I view success.
I'm curious. How so?
Well, I think I'm like a lot of people,
Right.
where I've always connected success with what you achieve externally.
Right.
You know, your career, what you own, your social standing.
The typical measures of success.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But these teachings, they point to something much deeper. They say true success is about the state of your heart, the purity of your intentions,
Absolutely.
and how you impact others.
That's a really profound insight, and it aligns with what we've seen throughout these hadiths about inner transformation, about developing qualities like humility, gratitude, and compassion.
So it's these qualities, these inner ways of being that truly define a successful life.
Exactly. A life that's pleasing to Allah, may He be glorified and exalted, and leaves a good legacy behind.
It reminds me of another hadith from Imam Ali, peace be upon him, where he says, the best of people are those who benefit others. It's like he's urging us to use what we have, our gifts, our talents, our resources, to make the world a better place.
It's a beautiful call to action.
It is.
It highlights how important it is to live a life of service, to understand that our purpose goes beyond just ourselves and includes the well-being of our communities and the world around us.
Thinking back on everything we've talked about in this deep dive, it's amazing how much wisdom and guidance we can find in the teachings of the Ahlulbayt, peace be upon them.
It really is.
They offer a path to a more fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
A life grounded in faith, compassion, and a strong connection with the divine.
I couldn't agree more. And what's truly remarkable is how their message goes beyond time and cultures. It speaks to those universal human values that resonate with everyone.
It's like they're holding up a mirror, showing us our own goodness, our capacity for love and compassion,
Absolutely.
and our potential to make the world a better place.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
As we finish this deep dive, I want to encourage you, our listeners, to keep exploring these teachings, to delve even deeper into the wisdom of the Ahlulbayt. Peace be upon them, and discover for yourself the power of these timeless truths.
Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey of discovery.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope that what we've shared today has sparked your curiosity, inspired you to keep seeking knowledge, understanding, and a deeper connection with the divine. Until next time, may peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you all.